Everyone, Darren Hunter here with Deniz, Yusuf. This is the Top Growth Podcast Show where we teach you how to grow your rent roll with up to 28 different rent roll growth strategies. If you want to go back into our library, go back into the Top Growth Podcast Show episodes, you'll see all sorts of ways to grow your rent roll. Now, we have the BDM Coach Podcast Show, which gets into the BDM skills. In fact, Deniz, you've got 2 interviews with top BDMs tomorrow. We're actually going to talk about the pre-listing email as well. So look out for that episode. And of course, Win Your Worth podcast show. That's where we get into how to get the best fees in your market, how to overcome discounting, some great scripts there. So we're into getting the best fees of the Win Your Worth podcast show. So back to the Top Growth Podcast Show. And Deniz, of course, we're talking about the Lead Machine Secrets book in each episode. If you haven't got the Lead Machine Secrets book, 28 different ways to grow your rent roll without having to rely on salespeople, and how to get warm leads, which means the trust is in place when they contact you, which means if they do ask for a discount, as they do because you work in real estate, then it's easily overcome because trust is already in place and they've already made a decision on working with you. That's what you want. That's why trust is a must. That's why we don't like cold leads, because they're coming without trust and we know they're going to be very, very fee focused. So Deniz, let's talk about salespeople. Now, we have conversations with BDMs and they commonly say, I'm really struggling at the moment because my property management team sucks. Or property managers are leaving. I can't trust them. I can't speak to my new business prospects in confidence because I feel like I'm feeding them to the lions. And they want to be confident in their team, all right? And the same goes for salespeople too, is because we know real estate is full of really good salespeople, and they're dedicated to their clients. So they know if they've built trust with a buyer, the buyer has purchased a property from them, they want to rent it out, then they really care about the welfare of that buyer. They want to pass them on to people that they trust. And so here is our point. If that salesperson feels that they cannot trust their own rent roll that's in their real estate business with their client, they are not going to hand them over. And so that's the point. There is your rent roll growth opportunity with other rent rolls in your market with salespeople that don't go out of their way to be unloyal. They're forced. They feel that their hand is being forced, and they are loyal to their client over the loyalty to the rent roll because of service problems. Now, we know, Deniz, if a rent roll has a boss that's never done property management before, doesn't understand it, doesn't care about it, it's just there because it has to be, then it's very likely it's got property managers that feel very neglected. There is no training, there is no processes, they've got discount fees, which means no one can be paid properly, which causes so many problems. So Deniz, let's have a chat about this. How often are you finding, I know I've sort of dominated so far in the podcast, but let's talk about this. What are you seeing out there and what are you hearing?
Darren, it's something back in 2013 when I first started coaching, I was horrified because I didn't understand that, wow, what do you mean, sales agents are referring business from another company to you? It was in my favor at first, which was great because they were referring business. And I do put this down to the investor support services that we started to put in within those businesses back then. So it helps you, but it will work against you if your rivals are doing investor support services. But I just want to share, it's really interesting. I'm actually seeing it more and more. I'm seeing more sales agents refer business outside of their own PM department. And I've got a photo on my phone that I will share in a second. And I posted it on my personal profile on the 6th of March, if you want to go and have a look at it. Right? Deniz Yusuf, my Facebook. Now, sales agents and any refer partners are sick and tired of referring clients to somewhere that they don't trust anymore, because those clients are now ringing that sales agent up or that referral partner and saying, Darren, You told me to use Michael Sands IGT, and he's not looking after me or my property. Now you've got to help me find somebody, right? So that's what's happening. They don't want those phone calls. It's negativity, right? So they want to know their clients are being looked after, especially sales agents. They know that they're going to sell that property eventually, right? And those sales agents, if they're making their phone calls, it doesn't matter who they refer it to. If they're staying in contact with the person that they sold the property to, they're going to get the business back. Now, have a listen to this. Years ago, before we started our own office, we didn't refer to the PM team within the office. We were only in sales, right? And another person, I've been seeing the same. Lots of sales agents here on the coast. This is the coast of Australia. This particular person, their name's been crossed out, is the Sunshine Coast of Queensland. Lots of sales agents here on the coast just do not refer to their own rent roll. We'll always drop a call in with them, even just to chat. So Darren, it's happening, right? And if you're watching the video, there's the names I've crossed out, right?
Yeah.
So you can see. But it is happening. Distrust. There's a lot of average rent rolls out there, but the ones that are standing out, the BDMs and the property management departments that are doing their socials, that are hitting some goals, and they've got some great things going, they're the ones that are getting the business. Sales agents, referral partners don't want to refer business anywhere anymore, Darren. You know, but there are ways.
So what we're
of
saying
stopping.
is we're not demonizing salespeople here, because
No.
they are operating at a high level of trust. They put a lot of work into gaining and building the trust with this buyer who's now purchased a property, and they don't want to then be seen to be feeding them to the lions in a rent roll that they don't trust, that they believe, because they know what's going on. They're seeing it. They're seeing behind the scenes all the time of, you know, clients not being looked after, phone calls not being returned, emails not being returned, them also getting calls from buyers who become landlords, and then the property manager isn't communicating with them. So there is a whole bunch of opportunity here for you to establish relationships with these salespeople that may be able to refer you quality leads on the sly, all right, to you. And so, Deniz, I think the easy way to find this out is that what rent rolls in your marketplace, particularly or typically, are run by a sales business. So they're set up, they're a sales business. The boss is really focused on the sales team. He might be a selling principal himself, which means in a lot of cases, there's not much love left for property management. They're neglected. If you've got that type of situation going, then you know that those salespeople connected to that business will be very likely open to a conversation with a quality property manager or quality property management business that they can potentially trust. And so it's what rent rolls in your marketplace are getting a lot of complaints, and it's probably not the property management only focused business. It's that big sales business that really doesn't care about property management and just doing stupid discounts. Deniz.
Oh, totally. I exactly. I do agree with you on this, Darren. And what's interesting, right, is, you know, BDMs, property managers, anyone that's out there that your job is to grow the rent roll, you should be feeling encouraged that you can be calling these sales agents. A lot of the time when I'm talking to BDMs about one-on-one meetings and doing your strategic alliance calls, you can go to the coffee shops where the sales agents go get their coffee, or they have their meetings. Go meet with them and have a talk to them. Share your wins with them. Treat them like they work within your own office, and talk about, you know, 98% of our tenants are currently paying on time. We're saving our owners just for using us. Drop those seeds. I'm not saying sit there and go bang, 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 but I'm just giving you an example of a few things that you can say in conjunction to...
Deniz, there's another place you can guarantee to find them, all right? And they're usually on their own. And they're actually going to publish the date and the time and the address of where they're going to be. Where is that?
It's called a home open.
Correct. It's like it's advertised publicly.
Yeah.
You're going to know the exact place, the hour, and the day, and the exact minute they're going to be there, because they ain't going to be late. So you've
No.
got that opportunity that if you feel that you've found a rent roll that's doing very badly, there's an overflow of complaints, you know there's an overflow of likely unhappy clients, well, there's probably going to be unhappy salespeople too that you can just go and have a chat to and talk about your stats, and
But
then
Darren,
invite them to a coffee.
but Darren, what do I say when I go to the home open? Well, that's easy. That's easy. The scripts are in the book, right? But I'm going to give it to you now anyway. It's called the Investor Support Services. Darren, I've just so Darren's a sales agent. If he says, Dennis, what are you doing at my home open? Well, I'm actually here on behalf of a lot of investors that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with so many investors that are looking to buy properties, and they talk to me about what would make a good return. And I saw your home open, so I thought I'd pop in and have a look so I can then shoot it off to the investors I'm dealing with. And then you go through your sales pitch to them, right, of how you're helping and why you've got the trust from investors prior to them purchasing a property. So you're winning them over and you're sharing your points of differences with them, right? So it's an easy script, but you can go and you can go to their auctions as well, right? They often post on social media. They're going to a coffee shop or they're doing this. It's not hard to be a little PI and work out where they hang, or if you've got the courage, ring them up and just say, here's a simple script. I know that you're giving your current investors a rental recommendation, Darren, for from within your own office for your investment properties you're selling, but it's a biased opinion. I'm happy to offer you a rental opinion letter too, and if I do get the investor, you work out your incentive for them, and if you're allowed to have a third party incentive, right? But you can have those chats. There's so many ways. The idea of this podcast is, yes, it happens. We're trying to highlight to BDMs things that you can do so you can jump in on it and get more business for yourself. Don't be discouraged if they've got a property management division. We've just shown you some ways of lead generating, right? It's all part of the investor support services, but it's warnings. If you don't have this in place, then you could be losing business out of your own real estate offers to your rivals.
And I know, Dennis, we could call up a number of quality property management business owners that would tell us they get leads from other salespeople from other businesses in the area on the sly because those salespeople don't trust their own property management. Now, I know a minority of the time those salespeople feel they're not getting the right financial incentive, but majority of the time, it's simply they don't trust their own rent roll and they want to be able to look after, and they feel dedicated to their client and they want to make sure the client is looked after. And so their loyalty to the client is far more important to maintain the trust than giving them into a rent roll where they could have a very negative, bad experience, because that will also blow back on them as well. And they fear that and they don't want that. They want their client. They want to be able to have that client again in 2 or 3 or 4 years' time again. So they want to look after them. And so, guys, we're not here to poo-poo agents or anything like that, but agents that deliberately don't focus on or don't care about property management, you've got an inroad there to be getting leads without breaking any laws, without going behind the sign or anything like that, or trying to influence a management agreement, because at this stage there isn't one in place. All right, so everyone grab Dennis's book. So Dennis talked about the investor support services. In fact, he signed up 745 properties in 3 years from that one strategy alone. It's actually in strategy number 1. I think, Dennis, from memory, it's about 5 steps. You've got also the scripts in there as well, everyone. It's covered in there. But the best thing you can do is to jump into Dennis's diary for a chat. Dennis, how are they going to talk to you?
growmyrentroll.com. Jump in. You can book direct into my diary at a time that suits them. And Darren, I will chat with them about anything they need to chat about, even if it's just an alignment for goals, KPIs to put in a team. It's a complimentary discovery call for me to help people.
And everyone, look, we've got an hour and a half a week to teach you how to grow your rent roll, how to also grow BDM skills, how to get skills that will take your BDM to 10, 20, 30 properties a month. Talk to Deniz about that and join our masterminds, which are a weekly group coaching session online on Zoom, so it's easy to get there every Wednesday. Have a chat about Deniz about that. Get the book, leadmachinesecrets.com. The book is free. Just pay shipping. Deniz, we are done, everyone. We'll see you in the next podcast episode. Take care.
Take care, everyone.